Hey guys, welcome back, and today we are here with another week of B-Way Grosses. We have some interesting things to talk about, some new developments, some things I'm liking, some things I'm not liking, some things that surprise me, so let's get into it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let's get into the video. And Juliet went from 97% to 96%, going from 1,185,634 to 1,123,715. Once again, and Juliet is doing exceptionally well at the box office, nothing more to say. A Beautiful Noise had a very steep decline from 82% to 75%, going from $1 million to $876,940 this week. And again, I think that we will not be able to tell if this will succeed, past, this fall until the fall. But for right now, A Beautiful Noise is doing fine. Bad Cinderella, and that's doing pretty bad. I have to use the pun. It's gonna happen until it closes. Went from 68% to 69%, going from $384,528 to $351,163. Pretty terrible. Camelot went from 90% to 86%, going from $851,402 to $811,604. Funny Girl went from 67% to 89%, going from $1,148,386 to this week's $1,583,257. Hadestown went from 99.9% capacity last week to this week 98.84%, going from 771,282 last week to this week 771,642. Again, Hadestown is maintaining quite well now. Again, it really shouldn't be going past 850,000, and the lowest is 800K. So it's not doing well, but it's hanging on. I think, again, if this will go into next year, and, I think we will figure out, will this close in January? Will this close later on in 2024 when we get to September and October? Because I think it won't go past, it might have a week of 600K, but it will probably see an 800, a 900, maybe 1 week of 1 million. So I think it will survive this summer, but the fall is where the numbers are going to count the most. And I'm very nervous that it's not going to do so hot. Hamilton went from 100.82 to 100.73, and 1,906,604 last week to this week's 1,894,229. Kimberly Akimbo is not doing good. It went from 96%, 96.26 to 96.62, 540,852 last week to this week's 542,000 this week. For a musical that, is the contender to win Best Musical, for it to be doing this poor, and with the Tony noms, is very bad. It's very, very bad. And the Tony Awards are only in a few weeks. And again, it's like Band's Visit, for example, was making $1 million, and that was the Band's Visit. Fun Home, A Strange Loop, was making more money than Kimberly Akimbo was. And you know what I mean? It's just bad. It's bad. And I don't know if the Tony noms might help it. Could this close in the fall? I don't know. But I feel like this is only with the nominations. What's a Best Musical win gonna do? It's not gonna hit 1 million. It's not gonna hit 900,000. You'd be lucky if it gets to 800K. I just don't know what their strategy is. I feel like the marketing for Kimberly has not been the greatest. They haven't had a public TV performance at all. Maybe they don't have the money for it, but regardless, it's not boding well for Kimberly Akimbo, and this is not the business that a top contender for Best Musical should be doing. It is a disappointment, and it is losing money. And honestly, I think they should maybe decide to change their strategy to higher ticket prices and lower capacity, because at this point, I think that it's more valuable to get higher grosses than higher capacity at this point, because this strategy that they've figured out of lower tickets, higher capacity has not caught on. And I think Kimberly Akimbo is a hard show to describe. It's quirky, it's weird, it's small. You explain the story to someone and they're like, so it's about a teenager that's not really a teenager but is a teenager. It's just hard to describe, and it's it's Janine Tesori musicals don't do well on Broadway for whatever reason. It's a very weird musical to describe, and it might turn people off, or they might be like, yeah, you lost me, it's still getting a little too confusing. You know, like, let me know in the comments down below why you think Kimberly Akimbo is not, you know, hitting with audiences. I think it's because it's a weird premise, it's hard to explain, and even when you do explain it, you watch the clip, you listen to the music, it doesn't hook you. It's like, okay, but like, there's Anne Juliet, and there's a musical about corn that's very mysterious, you know? And even when I was getting into Kimberly Akimbo, I wasn't going to see it because I wasn't interested in it. And I kind of was having a hard time wrapping my brain around the age thing. And the music was pretty generic at first, but it's a musical that, at least in my opinion, you have to see and listen to many times to fully appreciate it and get it. But in this day and age of limited time, of a very limited, you know, in a time of very limited attention span, that really doesn't work. And most Broadway musicals you can't just get into. You have to be like, I'm in or I'm out. And so it's a weird conundrum that they are faced with. And yeah, man, it's sad to see. But I think that's the Tesori curse. Moulin Rouge went from 98% to 97%, going from 1,405,219 to 1,355,398. New York went from 89% to 82%, going from $1,153,124 to $939,859. And it did fall significantly, but it is actually the best performing new musical of the season, and that's gotta mean something. Once Upon One More Time went from 73% to 86%, but the average ticket is $62, which is why the gross is only $606,278 compared to last week's $581,658, which is not great. I think it's gonna flop because it's at the Marquee Theater. Obviously, their ticket prices are lower and they're creating a strategy. But I mean, have you seen the seating charts? It's not selling well, and things just don't look well for it. I don't think it's gonna make it past next January. Like, it's not looking good. And, you know, Anne Juliet is so similar to this that I think it's just edged out of the competition, and it's just not as good as Anne Juliet from what I've heard, so I'm already gonna say it's gonna close. I think, and that it's a flop. And realistically, like, if you look at pre-pandemic numbers, you know, most musicals were doing 800, 900, and so if Once Upon a One More Time does not go to 700 next week and just stays at 6 or 7, it's not gonna be great. And the Marquee Theater is a big theater, and they've got big operating costs. So, especially in September and October, I just don't see it doing well. Parade went from 97% to 96%, going from $1,450,000 last week to this week's $1,108,120. So again, doing awesome. And then we got good old Shucked. Went from 98% to 97%, going from $779,986 to $809,278. And again, this musical is catching on with people, and I think that their marketing campaign is one of the strongest that we've seen in the season. I don't agree with the, you know, lower ticket prices, higher capacity, because I don't think it really worked in their favor, but their marketing has been very stellar. They've been really selling it as a mysterious musical with a great premise. I do think the thing that helped them the most was Alex Newell being on The Voice, singing independently owned, the cast album, and public performances. I think that all of those things is what is catapulting this Shucked to its next degree of success. I think it's really hitting with audience members, and there's a lot of audience members that don't think it's funny, but so many of their friends have told them to see it that they're just going to go and see it, and it's a Tony-nominated musical, and audiences love it. You know, they crack up. It really appeals to the 40-year-old, 50-year-old Broadway crowd, and I think that's why it's succeeding so well. I think it's a much more traditional musical than Akimbo. It's got kind of, you know, it's a lot more Broadway, and it's, you know, it's a musical comedy that plays it very safe. I think it's a very paint-by-the-numbers, committee-made musical, but that seems to be working with audience members now. And I think if this had come out in the fall, I don't know if it would have had this momentum. I think that, you know, This to me is why all best musical contenders like Akimbo and Shucked that rely on the Tony noms, because let's be honest, if Shucked did not get the Tony noms, they would not be doing this well. They always should open in the spring because one, they have less time to build their, they have more time to increase their ticket prices because of the Tony noms and all of the public performances and Tony Awards. I just think it's a better strategy, and clearly Shucked is further proof of that statement. And I think that this musical in particular is just, it's hitting with audiences. But I don't know if it's going to hit with audiences for after the Tony noms. Like, I think after the Tony noms are over, it's not going to win, like, Best Musical. So I don't know how it's going to fare afterwards. Maybe it will do well, but I think it will do okay, hold on into the 800, 700, maybe 600 range in the fall, and I mean in the spring, in the summer. But I feel like when we get into September and October, it's going to hit 500, maybe 400, and I just see it closing in January. But, I mean, even if it does go past January, I don't think it's going to, be here for 2 years or something. Like, it's going to close next year. It could be here next year because it surprised me. And I think me not liking it maybe affected how I saw it because I don't know how people love it so much. But, I feel like it's running on a hype and momentum now, but I don't know how long that's going to hold it for. 6 made $1 million and 92% capacity. Some Like It Hot continues to maintain $1 million, going from 91% to 83%. And I think Some Like It Hot, if it maintains $1 million over the summer, it will be fine. But, like, again, I think it could close in January. It could go past January, but we're going to have to see. Again, the fall, right now we're in a mode where I can't really predict this is going to close, this is going to close. When we have 2 months of and really a month of September, I will know, okay, Some Like It Hot has this much time left, Shucked has this much time left. I think Some Like It Hot is a much more expensive show to run, and if it goes past, like, 800,000, I don't know if it's going to make it past January, personally. Sweeney Todd made $1,882,000 this week, which was up from $1,867,368 last week, so it's close to $2 million, going from 99% to 100%. And those are the grosses. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like, sub, and comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.